So I thought I'd talk about the use of the accelerator. Now you might sort of say, well, that's fairly obvious. You put your foot on the accelerator, you increase speed, or you maintain speed, and you take your foot off the accelerator and you reduce your speed. And at a very simple term, that's true, but actually it's a little bit more complicated than that, and I'm going to try and explain why. At the end of the video, I'm going to talk about an advanced driving technique called accelerator sense, which, if used correctly, can make your driving safer, can make you a little bit more fun in your driving, a little bit more dynamic, and also can reduce your maintenance costs. And I'll explain a bit more about that at the end of the video. So let's go back to the basics then. Yes, putting your foot on the accelerator, providing you're in the correct gear, will increase your speed. If you're in too high a gear, then the load from the wheels is too great for the engine to actually accelerate. And therefore, in those conditions, the only thing you can do is actually change down the gear. That will allow the engine to speed up because the actual load on the engine has been reduced. Now, releasing the accelerator, you get the engine slowing you down through cylinder compression, and that is sometimes known as engine braking. Now, I don't particularly like the term of engine braking because it's not really braking, it's slowing the car down through, like I say, the cylinder compression in the engine. Of course, in this day now, with a lot of electric cars around, we have to think about regenerative braking, because in some of the electric cars, the accelerator pedal is the only one that you actually have. So you put your foot on your accelerator to increase speed, you take your foot off the accelerator, and you will get regenerative braking, which will recharge your batteries. So it's important to understand how the use of the accelerator affects your particular model of car. Some of the effects of releasing the accelerator can be really pronounced in electric vehicles. So like I say, it's important to understand how that works. Now, the other thing to be aware of with the use of the accelerator is that when you accelerate, it actually redistributes the weight of the car. So if you accelerate harshly, you will find that the weight of the car goes to the rear wheels. Now, if the weight is distributed to the rear of the car and you've got rear wheel drive, then obviously that gives you more grip and it allows the car to accelerate more because the weight is on those wheels. But conversely, the weight is lifted from the front of the vehicle. So under dry conditions, probably not too much of an issue unless that distribution is really severe and you've accelerated really harshly. But in wet and icy conditions, that can be a real problem and that can lead to skids. Now, conversely, when you come off the accelerator, especially if you've been travelling at high speeds, that is in effect a braking effect. So that actually transfers the weight to the front of the car. So if you're in a front wheel drive car, that obviously will then increase the drive to the front wheels. But again, conversely, the rear wheels then have had weight removed from them and you've got an unbalanced vehicle again. And again, you can actually get, a skid developed from that in wet or icy conditions. Now, we have to think as well about four-wheel drive. So in four-wheel drive vehicles, it really depends on how the actual weight of the vehicle is distributed between the front and the back of the vehicle, depending on the type of differential you have. Now, generally, four-wheel drive will give you good grip on all four wheels when you're accelerating. So in four-wheel drive vehicles, the weight distribution tends to be more stable. So that's the use of the accelerator. Now, I said I would talk about accelerator sense. With accelerator sense, what you're basically doing is using the accelerator to gently alter the speed of the vehicle. Now you can get probably up to a 10 miles an hour difference between taking your foot off the accelerator. So actually looking ahead and anticipating the traffic, that will allow you to alter your pressure on the accelerator using accelerator sense and control the distance from the car in front. Under those circumstances, and used properly, you will more often be able to rely on the accelerator and not use your brakes. So again, using the accelerator allows your drive to be a bit more dynamic. It allows your drive to be safer because you're understanding the actual weight distribution on the car and keeping the car balanced in all circumstances. And because you're not using the brakes, that actually will reduce your maintenance costs because you won't be using brake pads quite so often. Now in the next video I'm going to do a demonstration of accelerator sense. So if you found this video useful, then please give it a like. If you'd like to be notified when that next video is released, probably in about a week's time, then please consider subscribing to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you then.